lands far beyond secret lanes which they obscure. Scouring tribals to reclaim for the mark of and proclaim. As we travel through the world, crashing through the mud, and collecting enemy hands. It was a dream. Attacking our battleships, they've been death by a fingertip. Split apart with 3 BKs, so to come together to bring them shine. Chevaliers, defenders of the weak, using our jet force to fight, far reaches to see. Striking at the sun, protection is failing. Just the sun. Hands without the enemy at all. Jesus needs us like rock. Just brother. The tribal berry.
Seen that show, and the women who are ice road truckers are huge women, because you have to be incredibly strong. Like, you have to be able to put these chains on these gigantic tires.
You need to be incredibly strong and well insulated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've seen actual women who actually drive these trucks.
Yeah.
And this little girl in this movie, she had to be 5'2", maybe 115, soaking wet. I doubt. I don't even know. She was tiny. I was like, there's no fucking way she's a trucker. Like, I'm sorry. This little girl who's like really small, even for a woman, was just like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's like the problem too, right? Because I've seen like 5'2" men be like these ice road truckers. But men have like higher bone density, muscle density, testosterone and stuff. You have to be like a 6'1" just to catch up to a 5'2" man to be able to do the same stuff.
Or at least show any sign of having lifted weights or something. Like, she didn't look strong at all. Yeah. And it was just like, there's no way she's a trucker. There's just no way. Like, they could have found a bigger, like someone like what's her name from Cara Dune from Star Wars?
Gina Carano.
What's that actress? Gina Carano. Yeah, she could be a nice road trucker. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's a short girl. Right? She's a short stack.
I don't think so. Is she like?
She looks like 5.
I think she's like 5'8".
6 maybe.
Right. I'm pretty sure she's like 5'8". Yeah. Like I wouldn't call her short, especially for a woman.
No. That's pretty tall, actually. I thought she was shorter for some reason, but she's strong.
I'm pretty sure that's
like you can tell.
Let's see.
Yeah,
5'8". I remembered it correctly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have believed.
She was
Gina
also
Carano.
She was a fighter too, so she's like 143 pounds for a woman that's 5'8". That's in shape. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. But this little girl in Ice Road or whatever it was called.
She was probably 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, she was so small. I mean, even like Liam Neeson didn't look particularly. I mean, it was fine. Yeah, well, he was old. Although he had like his brother was with him too, and his brother looked a little bit stronger. Like his brother was the mechanic and all that stuff. So,
like a younger Liam Neeson, he probably looked like he'd be able to throw chains on a tire no problem. But he's pretty old at this point.
Yeah. But for some reason, he brought dynamite, and that ended up coming into play, of course, because
I would bring dynamite too.
It was Chekhov's dynamite. They introduced
you need dynamite and cat litter. 2 musts for any road trip.
That's right. Definitely. But anyway, it's a terrible movie. Can't recommend it.
This is making me want to watch it more. I'm probably gonna have to go watch this movie. Was it called Ice Road?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, on Netflix.
Okay.
There was also another movie I saw fairly recently, a couple months back, that took place, I think, in the North Pole with maybe the South Pole with George Clooney. I can't even remember the name of it. Also a terrible movie. But I'll tell you about that another time.
Yeah, when you can remember it more.
Yeah. I've been apparently watching a lot of movies that involve snow and ice and stuff like that.
It's probably because it's so hot, you're trying to cool off by watching all of these like cold movies.
Yeah. Exactly. Terrible Netflix movies.
I don't know why. I tend to like terrible movies more than great movies these days.
Yeah.
I think I
don't
want
know.
something to complain about. I think that's the real thing.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad that I turned it off. I actually watched it from beginning to end. So I don't know. If you happen to see it, it was trending, so somebody must think it's good. Yeah,
I mean,
check it out.
I was sold on Liam Neeson with dynamite heading up into the freaking Northwest Territories of Canada. This already just sounds like a good movie to me.
Yeah, definitely. I can't really think of anything else about it except that there was just something about it that was just bizarre. And I think it was the killer insurance guy was just so over the top, unbelievably like an unbelievable villain. It's just really that guy? That guy's the bad guy? Come on.
Yeah. That reminds me of not a bad guy. Actually, these turned out to be good guys. But have you ever seen the anime Trigun?
No.
Oh, Trigun's great. It's only a single season. You can just binge through it. It's a classic, right? It was back in the 90s is when it came out. It's actually Johnny Young Bosch's first anime voice, as far as I know, was as Vash the Stampede. And Trigun is a story about this guy who is wanted, and he's got I think it's $1 billion double dollars, which it's the equivalent of yen or whatever, but he's got this huge fucking bounty on his head. And the reason he hasn't been caught yet is because he's such a dork that nobody ever believes it's him when they go up to catch him. Until the insurance agency, because it turns out the people who put the bounty on his head was actually the insurance agency, because he's such a hazard, right? He destroys everything around him by accident. It's just bad luck follows him, and they're trying to take this guy out of the way. They have to cover so much in collateral damages with him around. And they send out these 2 insurance agents to go and get him, these 2 women. And they do finally find him. And once they find him, though, they can't really take him into custody. So they just, follow him around with beady eyes the entire time. And it's great. It is a really good show. That's the initial premise. It actually gets a lot deeper. There's a lot of, moral, philosophical lessons in there, especially about, the flaws in pacifism. But, I highly recommend anybody who hasn't seen Trigun should watch Trigun.
Write that down.
Yeah. It's all one word. Trigun.
All right.
It's one of my favorites.
Not to be confused with Trigon.
Yes, not to be confused with Trigon.
But welcome Gamotron and Elric to the chat, and Timothy Olsen.
Yeah. No, Trigun's great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, especially with how short it is. If you haven't seen Trigun, you can just literally binge it in one sitting. But anyway, since you're saying welcome to people, welcome to the Vomitorium. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer, on this fine day of the 8th of July, 2021. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I can't believe it's already July 8th. Where did the first week of July go?
I don't know.
It's crazy. Are you gonna go see Black Widow?
Probably
Is that
not.
out already, or does
I don't
that
know.
come out tomorrow?
Let's see.
It's confusing because I feel like it came out yesterday. Like sometimes movies come out on a Wednesday
Yeah.
just to extend the week a bit.
9th.
But then other people were saying it comes out tomorrow. Okay, so it is tomorrow. All right.
Probably not
I guess
gonna watch
maybe critics have seen it.
At least not in theaters, anyway.
Nah.
It doesn't look like a movie that's worth me spending theater money to watch. I'll just wait or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not going to re-sign up for Disney Plus for that. So.
Oh, hell no.
I heard that Kevin Feige's pissed that they released it on streaming, or they're going to tomorrow.
Oh, with the simultaneous release? Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. That didn't seem to hurt. Didn't, like, the Godzilla movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, didn't they do that with that?
Yes, it did.
And that seemed to do okay in the theaters?
Here's the reason why it didn't hurt. One, those big monster movies, anybody who actually wants to watch them knows that they're best seen on the big screen, right? So that's not going to hurt it theater-wise. And secondly, the reason it's not going to hurt it is because most of the people who are going to go and watch it on the streaming service are people in states like California where they're still not allowed to go to the movie theaters anyway.
Yeah. Well, I might go. I'll tell you what, if I go to the movies this weekend, it'll be the first time I've been to the movies in at least 5 years, literally. I don't think I've been to the movies in 5 years. I can't even think of the last movie I saw.
The gap between when I went to the theaters was January of 2020 to, I don't know, a couple months ago, whenever Godzilla vs. Kong came out. I saw that in theaters.
Oh, okay.
So, like, a year gap most, right? Because I saw Doolittle in theaters back in January before everything closed down.
Okay.
With
I'm trying to think.
Two friends. I liked it.
It may be more like, what was the last movie I saw in the theater? I can't even think of it. I'm looking at 2016 movies. I'm like, I didn't see any of these in the theater.
Oh, Elric was able to see both those things in the theater while it was locked down. I guess they didn't want their theaters to die. I know there's some places where the theaters still aren't open, though. I'm surprised California let you go.
Yeah, nope. Didn't see any movies in 2016 that I can. So what did Elric see?
Oh, both Demon Slayer and Godzilla in theaters during the lockdown. I'm honestly just surprised that California allowed him to.
Yeah, no, I didn't see Alita in the theater. Definitely. TMT says, I like being able to pause a movie and sit in a really comfy seat. Yeah. The only thing I really like about the movies is the popcorn. I love movie theater popcorn. One of my favorite things.
Let's just buy a popcorn machine.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
I don't know what
like
they
if you
do.
get like a big movie theater popcorn machine, like the cart, yeah, it is the same.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna get one of those.
But if you get one of those, and that's like literally the only thing you like about the theater, then you never have to worry about going to a movie theater ever again. It'll pay itself off when you think about how many movie theater tickets you saved.
Probably. But
yeah,
I don't know if I want my house to smell like that all the time.
Dude, that's actually the only thing I like about popcorn is the smell.
Really?
Yes, that's it. I love the smell of popcorn, but I fucking hate it. Same with coffee. I love the smell of coffee, but I fucking hate it.
I'm willing to bet the last movie that I went to was probably a kids movie with my kids, and it was probably in 2015.
Wow.
I just can't think of I can't think of any other movie that
I'm trying to think what movie came out in 2015, because like the last kids movie that I know of for theaters, like 2014, I believe, is when Frozen came out.
Well, when did the first Wonder Woman movie come out?
That wasn't that long ago. I don't think. Let me see. 2017.
Okay. I must have seen something in 2016 because I think I didn't see that in the theaters, but I saw something just before that.
I saw that in the theater, and I didn't regret
Yeah.
it. The first Wonder Woman movie is actually pretty good. I
Yeah,
don't know what else
I like it.
DC is doing. To be honest, like their head's not in the right place.
I think I saw Zootopia. Oh, and I definitely saw Finding Dory in the theaters. So that would have been 2016. So there you go. That might have been one of those. Might have been the last movie I ever saw in a theater.
Oh, GMT also saw Doolittle in the theater, which was the last movie I saw before Godzilla came out. The Robert Downey Jr. I thought that was a good movie. I talked about it on here in the past, so I'm not going to go back over and talk about how I thought it was a really good movie. But the reason I thought it was good specifically was because it was authentic. It wasn't trying to be ironic. It was just like a very whimsical, childlike adventure, kind of like the books. And it wasn't trying to be something that it wasn't. It was just a very authentic movie that I think people can enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I saw that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's not at the theater. And I thought it was silly. But fine. I didn't have any problem with it.
I think it's
Doolittle.
mostly...
Did that come out in 2020?
Yeah, that came out 2020. That was January 2020.
Are we red?
We were for a second. I'm green at the moment.
You're... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sketchbook
I wouldn't be
says he couldn't
surprised
get
if
through
part of the
Doolittle
problem
movie.
is I just got the window update notification, so my computer's probably downloading shit in the background without my permission.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we just hit 0. We're red now. Yeah. I'd like to apologize for any internet problems that I have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess we're back up. Are we back up?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I had like 5,000 kilobits per second and it was still red. So like, don't ask me how the internet works.
I don't know. We look like we're back up to me.
Yeah. But
So
my biggest like requirement for a movie these days is kind of that it's authentic. I kind of hate this like really postmodern ironic, like not even just humor, but sense to everything where everything has to subvert itself, where you can't like stick to a bit or a joke for too long. And you're like, haha, wasn't that funny? It's like, well, it's not funny now that you pointed it out.
yeah.
And that's why I like Doolittle. That's why I like most movies I like is because it's kind of authentic to itself. Right? It kind of knows what it wants to be and it just does it. Whole heart all the way through.
I saw somebody put out a tweet saying, oh, for those of you who are nostalgic about comedy in the past or whatever, this is the junk that came out in 2000, and they showed Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, and I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. That
movie was
awesome.
Authentic. At no point were they trying to be ironic. They just did everything straight through. That's why it's better than the sequels, because after the first one was successful, Guantanamo Bay and Harold and Kumar Save Christmas, or whatever the fuck it's called, were super ironic and just weren't as good as the first one. I still kind of like them, but the first is way better because of that.
Yeah. Like they were trying to say that comedy wasn't good. I'm like, what are you talking about? That was awesome. That's what we want more of. That's what we've lost in the last 10 or 20 years.
Especially when he's like dreaming and tripping about like the girl that he likes in the tower, and there's the security guard who's the cop who was a dick to him when they were arrested earlier, and then he shoots him. He's like, "Oh, bullets, my only weakness," which is one of my favorite lines of all time.
Yeah. Oh my God. What did you think of? Did you ever see The Interview, where they go to interview Kim Jong-il or whatever?
No, I heard it was crap.
Oh.
But at the same time, it's one of those movies that, like, even if it's crap, I'd watch it. I just probably wouldn't catch myself watching it alone. Like, if I was watching it in a Discord or on TV with some other people, I would, but...
Yeah. I don't know, it kind of struck me as... It's one of those silly, like, something about Mary, Harold and Kumar type movies that are just dumb from beginning to end, but hilarious.
Oh, dude, that's actually one of my favorite movies, is There's Something About Mary. I've seen it way too many times. Yeah. Me and my dad love to watch it together.
Yeah. I love that movie, too.
I always have that. That's actually one of those songs that's, like, perpetually stuck in my head, and if there's not something going on, out of nowhere, I'll just hear, "Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down, and mess me around, and then worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will, but I love you still." Dude, I fucking love that movie so much.
Yeah. Frank said Baines. Frank said Baines.
Don't touch Warren's headphones.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Warren. Hilarious. So yeah, if I go see that movie, it'll be. My mom keeps telling me, "Don't go to this movie theater here. Go to the next one." I'm like, I'm not gonna drive. We've got a movie theater like 5 minutes away. I don't care if it's not, doesn't have the tilting seats or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. Do they have popcorn? That's all I care about. Do they have the movie I want to see?
Well, that's the thing when GM2 brought up comfortable seats earlier. I've got so many options for theaters around me, though most of the time we do just default to the one in our town because it's right there. But the Cinemark's kind of crap, right? It's still got like the old school movie theater seats and yeah.
That's
but like
it's
you go to
AMC,
and the AMC in the town over has like those bigger seats where you kind of just feel like you're occupying more space than you need to. Or if you go to like the movie tavern or... Well, actually, the movie tavern's not that good, I think, right? No, the movie tavern's good. I'm thinking of Studio Movie Grill. You want to talk about shitty-ass seats? In the Studio Movie Grill in Arlington, which is one of those dinner and a show type things, right? They have like almost like cubicle desks, right? Like these office ass desks that form like this long table in front of you. And then you're in like these rotating chairs, like an office chair. They're not uncomfortable, but they're on wheels and you can move around. You're like, why am I watching a movie like this? The food's pretty good, but why the hell am I watching a movie like this when I could go to the movie tavern or Alamo Draft House, where they've got these really nice, elevated, comfortable seats. Alamo Draft House, you actually step on a step, like a stool, to get into your seat, so that the people can crouch and stay under your field of view when they're delivering the food and taking the orders and stuff like that, and not disturb people whatsoever. It's probably the best like movie experience I've ever had was at the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard that that's really good. I don't think I ever went when I was there, when I was living in Austin.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
And they're everywhere now, almost. I mean, they're not everywhere, but here, I think there's one in Austin, San Antonio, and in Dallas. There might be more now. But there's even an Alamo Draft House up in New York. Like, they're just in random places now. You would hope
Yeah,
there's
although
one in
the
San
one near
Antonio
me-
since the fucking Alamo's there.
Yeah, seriously. So the one near me is an AMC, but it just hasn't been,
Updated.
refurbished lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently the good one is also an AMC. So GMP says her car has really comfortable seats. Yeah, it's too bad there's not a drive-through near you.
Or what was the other one there used to be around
Or
here?
drive-in.
Oh, there used to be a Cineplex around here too. And when I was a kid, I couldn't tell the difference. As I got older, I was like, no, let's not go to the Cinemark. Let's go to the Cineplex. It's better. It's like, yeah, but it's like 2 towns away. I don't care.
Yeah.
We could go and stop at the Chili's beforehand. We always do anyway. Or the Cheddar's. Man, I haven't been to a Cheddar. Is Cheddar's still around? I haven't been to a Cheddar's in like a good decade and a half.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a family restaurant. Like one of those
Oh,
places
okay.
that you go to eat. Let me look this up.
Yeah, a restaurant.
Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen. Yes,
Is it
Cheddar's is still
like an
around.
Applebee's?
Yeah, it's like one of those, you bring your family, you sit there, you eat. The meals are kind of inexpensive, but you're paying more than you would at a fast food place. Like a Chili's or an Applebee's or a Fridays.
Or they ask you plate or platter? And if you're Lucille Bluth, you say, I don't understand the question and I won't respond to it.
Here's the weird thing. So Cheddar's, probably one of the reasons a lot of people haven't heard of it is the chain was founded here in Texas, in Irving, which is only like 2 towns away from me, right? But the headquarters is in Orlando, Florida. And there are 3 Cheddars in this area too. I'm just like, why? If you're based in Irving, we've got 3 different restaurants here too that are considered like the main Cheddar's restaurants. Why is your headquarters in Orlando, Florida? And then I realized, oh, it's because you're owned by a parent company now. It's the same people that own Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse and all that.
Oh, okay.
Darden restaurants.
Did they recently acquire Longhorn Steakhouse? Because I thought that was a small company based in Nashville for a while. It must have been bought out.
Maybe it was actually founded in Georgia, Atlanta.
Oh.
But it is part of Darden. I like Longhorn. It's expensive. Not the most expensive steakhouse I've ever been to, but like any steakhouse, you're spending quite a buck if you go there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had like a 20-something ounce steak when I went there. It was pretty good.
Ulrich doesn't understand fancy dining movie theaters.
He doesn't understand fancy dining movie theaters. Why do I need dinner? Well, okay, so think about it this way, right? I know all he needs is a Coca-Cola. When you're going with a large group, right? Typically, you and your group will either eat before or after the movie. And you'll go out to like a restaurant or something. Maybe not the most expensive restaurant, but you're still going to go meet at a restaurant. Then you're going to go see the show. In this case, you could just hit up both of them at the same time. It's that old allegory of 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. The problem with that is, though, then you'd have to do something else if you want to actually talk to the people that you're going out with. So if you were going to go out to a movie and dinner, you can talk to them during dinner.
Yeah, well, that's why you normally do it that way. We still normally do it that way too. Very few times do I go with somebody and we do the dinner of the show. Maybe if it's like me and 2 other people and we were all interested in seeing the movie, we weren't really doing like a hangout day or something like that, we'll go up to like Alamo or something. If it's like we're going with a group of like 6 or more people, it's like we'll go to the movie first, even though we're all fucking hungry the whole time we're watching the movie, and then we'll go to the restaurant afterwards, sometimes like a Chinese buffet, because we all want to talk about the movie that we just watched.
Yeah.
So I never got like, why do we ever go to the show before the movie? I get it. You're hungry. But if we go after, then we get to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't talk about the movie before we watch it, unless we're talking about expectations. Yeah. But
yeah. So I don't know. Someone was saying that. I guess. Sorry, Sketchbook was saying that Longhorn was presumably he's saying that it was never like a private, like small company.
Well,
I might be thinking of
it probably was at one point when it was founded in Atlanta, Georgia, but it probably has been public for quite some time.
You know what I was thinking of? Logan's Roadhouse.
I know Logan's. Yes, no, as far as I know, that's still a private. That's a famous roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got Logan's and Longhorn Steakhouse confused. Logan's because I was like, I know there is. Yeah, okay, so there's Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah, no, Longhorn's a chain. I've got one near me.
Mm-hmm. Logan's Roadhouse. There you go. Logan's Road. That's exactly headquarters, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. I knew because they were a client of mine. I actually did some IT work for them, so I was like, I know there's a steakhouse in Nashville that I did work for. It was Logan's. That's right. I
was trying to convince my
or I was going crazy.
We were on our way back down from Chicago, and we saw the exit. And the exit was for Memphis, but I mean, obviously, if we started going that way, we could have hopped onto the way to Nashville instead. But we saw the exit for Tennessee. I was like, come on, they have really good barbecue in Tennessee. And like, no, we're going back down. We're going home.
Yeah,
I mean, we have good barbecue home too, but I want to change of pace.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of other ones, but Barbecue is one of the better ones. Sketchbook is laughing about Logan's. They might have been bought out, but their headquarters is still in Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember. There are lots of sort of famous barbecue places in Nashville.
There's other good places you can get barbecue. I mean, even Oklahoma has some pretty good. But if there's two places to get barbecue in the entire country, it's Tennessee and Texas. And I get Texas barbecue all the fucking time. I wanted the change of pace. I mean, there's good Kentucky barbecue too, but Tennessee's is better.
Yeah. And from what I hear, Memphis is even better than Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, we would have went to either. If I could convince them. I was very indifferent. I just wanted, we could have just dipped in, got the closest local place, and I just wanted some Tennessee style barbecue for a change. But then it's like, no, we're going home.
Yeah. Depending on what highway you were on, there's like a barbecue right off the highway at one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So. GMT wants to see Black Adam so she can ogle the Rock.
That one I might actually go and watch in theaters.
Yeah.
I did like Shazam. I heard it's the same director. I'm not that interested in Shazam 2, especially some of the stuff they said they're doing with it. But I've been kind of looking forward to Black Adam with The Rock since it was announced 6 years ago? Whenever he first said he was going to be doing the role, and it's been in production hell since then.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it doesn't suck. Because the first Shazam was good. I did like it. It's very good.
They're the last week movie filming. That's great.
Still? They're still filming?
Apparently, yeah. Well, because the Rock actually uploaded a picture, or his publicist or whoever runs his account does, of him still having the little mocap dots put on him. So while he's doing the stunt scene, they can trace it and then put the digital version of him in the suit over it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nashville is also known for hot chicken. Very, very good. If you like spicy food,
I do like spicy food.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. You can get it tear-inducing, just unbelievably spicy.
Well, Sketchbook even brings up too, it's This is my biggest point on why I think most people agree to why Texas and Tennessee have the best barbecue. You can get sweet barbecue in Texas, but it's not the norm. Both of them let their food be savory. A lot of other places you go, like that's just the culture of the area, it's all sugary and sweet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they lather it with the sweetest barbecue sauce you've ever eaten. It's almost like, why would I eat this over Chinese takeout? They're both just as sweet as each other.
Yeah, I prefer like the spicy barbecue. Like if I go to Famous Dave's or something like that, I like the devil's spit that they have. It's really
Yeah. Or you go to Spring Creek and their barbecue, it's not exactly spicy, but it's more of a tang. It's got like a kick to it, right? And it allows the food to be savory, as opposed to like just making it super sweet.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they have a Famous Dave's around here. Where's that located? Or where's that headquartered? They're publicly traded. You know what their stock symbol is?
What?
BBQ.
Nice.
Lucky. They got that. They are headquartered in Hopkins, Minnesota.
Minnesota. A lot of times when you get public, your headquarters ends up moving.
Yeah. Well, they were founded in Hayward, Wisconsin.
That makes sense.
So,
some of the northern states, they know how to keep things savory and spicy. Probably because it gets so fucking cold up there. Right? Like, God, you want a little kick to wake you up in that blizzard.
yeah. There is not a Famous Dave's in Birmingham. No, we have. Oh, you know why? Our barbecue place is called Dreamland.
Dreamland.
I think we got 2 or 3 of them. It's not as
Careful,
good.
Kirby's gonna eat all your food.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Dreamland. They bring you, like if you're with like your whole family or a big group, they'll bring you all the barbecue and they bring you just a loaf of Wonder Bread. Plop.
Yeah.
There you go, loaf of Wonder Bread. Enjoy it.
You can't go a mile when you're in a city area. You can't go 5 miles outside of it without hitting a barbecue place here.
Where you are.
Like,
yeah,
you're going down the highway, down 35, you're in between cities, you see nothing but farmland, and like almost on the dot, 5 miles down the road, there's a pit stop where there's like a gas station, a Whataburger, and a barbecue place.
Yeah.
And then every 10 miles, there's a Golden Corral.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the famous brisket place? I remember when I was in Austin, there was like one place that everyone would go for brisket.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember.
And it was just like everybody, that's just a place that everybody talked about.
It's a good place. I'm trying to remember the name of it, though.
It's just, there we go. Let me see. Top 10 best brisket in Austin, Texas. I'm sure I'll recognize it.
Is it Franklin's? I think it might be Franklin's barbecue.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these places.
It
had a very distinctive
top 10,
name.
I see Franklin on here. That's the one I remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Franklin barbecue. Maybe that doesn't ring a bell though for some reason. I feel like there was another place specifically for brisket.
It says Austin Franklin's as well. See, that was the name that like it popped in my head, and then when I double checked, I saw Franklin there. That's the one that hits me.
Maybe it was Rudy's.
Yeah, but you can get Rudy's
Is
anywhere.
there another one? Well, in Texas, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it exists outside of Texas.
Probably not.
I don't know. I feel like it was Rudy's that people were always saying.
Well, I mean, that's more of like a chain. Yeah, I mean, there's one not too far from me. Yeah, Franklin's world-renowned chef. That's why, like, Franklin's was the one that finally hit my head. It's like, yeah, which I've had it.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's good.
Yeah, no, this place wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
This was like a chain. So I'm betting it was Rudy's that people were always talking about. You know, when I was in Austin, I was hanging out with, kids right out of college. They didn't know any better. They probably just liked it because it was cheap. Of course, I was a kid right out of college. I was like 23 at the time, I think.
Yeah.
So.
That was Elric's song.
Yeah,
Rudy's is a chain. I was saying, there's one near me. It was closer when I lived in Arlington. There's one in Arlington. We went there. It's pretty good. I had their like pulled pork sandwich. And give you a tub. And it's like you go to, it's cafeteria seating, right? Like a bunch of picnic tables. You get your stuff, you stand in line, you order by the pound, and
That was the place where like everyone I worked with, this was in 2001.
Yeah.
2001.
It's a good place to sit down, but it's like a step up from fast food. And that's what it is. It's like that next step up.
Everyone was like, "Oh, you got to go to Rudy's for a brisket." Okay.
Like it's okay. I'm not gonna shit on Rudy's. Rudy's is pretty good, but it's not Franklin's.
I didn't know. I didn't know. My favorite place in Austin was Pizza Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Which I found out later is like a chain called Pizza Perfect. Like there's one in Nashville, but this was like a single restaurant. It was like owned by one. It wasn't a chain.
Yeah.
It was a place called Pizza Perfect in Austin.
Well, I've already told you my favorite pizza place in Austin.
Oh, what was that?
Hoek's Death Metal Pizza.
Oh yeah. No, this place was. I think I mentioned it before. They had a tree right through the middle of the restaurant, just like they built the restaurant around the tree. It was bizarre.
Yeah, I agree with Sketchbook. Rudy's is good, but it's hard on the wallet. Yeah, because like you order everything by the pound. You don't have to order a pound. Like if you're peckish, you can do fine there. But you're not going to go to Rudy's and not get like a pound of brisket or something like that. And it is pretty hard on the wallet.
Yeah. Well, Elric says being in California, only good places near him are half an hour to an hour away. It's actually the same way in Austin, for me anyway, because I lived on the north side. I lived halfway to Round Rock, frankly. And places like Pizza Perfect was on the south side of town.
Yeah.
So it was like an hour drive. It's crazy.
Well, and the problem is sometimes too, depending on the day, it's actually quicker to get to where you're going on foot if you can get close enough to the city area than it is to continue to drive around. Especially if it's a weekend and they close down like 5th Street or whatever. And you can only get around, because now you have to drive around that street to get to a part where you can park and then walk down to where you're going. It's like that in a lot of cities, depending on the day and the traffic and stuff. Sometimes if you can get close enough to your destination, it's just quicker to go on foot.
Yeah. I've been tempted to maybe the next place I live, to live in a downtown area. I know it would be expensive. What?
That's so harsh, man. Living in the downtown area.
I know. Well, yeah, but it would be cool. Like as long as it's in sort of a gentrified area where there's not like too much crime, but like
that's
seriously,
not what I
like
meant by
you'd be
harsh.
so close. Oh, well, that's what I meant.
My grandparents lived in Highland Park of Dallas, which is a great area to live if you have the money for it. I've spent many times like they would go on cruise and stuff. I would sit for them and I basically live there for a week or two on end or whatever. I loved it. I'd walk around town and stuff, but like I was aware of how expensive it is, and it's not just like the rental expensive, it's just everything is expensive living there, right?
Like parking your car.
Groceries are more expensive in the inner city. Like just everything, the cost of living goes up when you're living in that area. And it's like, it's better to live close enough to it that you can abuse public transit than it is to actually live in there.
Yeah. So yeah, Sketchbook. I did used to live in Austin. I moved there in 2000, and I lived there for 13 months. So, did I ever told you about the story of me moving to Austin and back?
You've told me, yes. I don't know if we've ever talked about it on here. It might have been in just like a private call.
Yeah.
We got time to.
Yeah, no, I moved there. Yeah, I moved there because I wanted to work at Origin Systems, the company that made the Ultima series.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any experience in the game industry, so I went and I just got a job as, a software developer at a consulting company called Eureka Soft in Austin, Texas. And I moved in the summer, or I guess the fall of 2000. And it was amazing because when I moved there, it was like the industry was just booming like crazy, and then everyone was hiring, and all these crazy startups were coming along. Like within 6 months, the .com bubble burst, and it was just like shit. Like my wife lost her job. I didn't lose my job, but half my company got laid off. The only reason I didn't lose my job is because I was like the last one hired. And so my salary was like the lowest, and I had already proven like within 6 months that I could pretty much do what the higher salary people could do, but cheaper. So they ended up
cheaper option.
Laying off. Yeah, exactly. I ended up sort of taking the jobs of some of the older people. But it got so depressing that a year after moving, we decided to move back to Nashville. But then, so I got hired pretty quickly back in a consulting company in Nashville. And I was supposed to move back like the end of September 2001. And then something happened on September 11th, 2001. And they kind of put that, on hold. So, but I ended up, they just moved it back a month, and I ended up moving back in October. So. Yeah, that was my Austin adventure. In retrospect, I kind of wish I'd stayed because I did have a job.
Yeah.
But
it
was kind of depressing, and like I said, my wife would find a job.
Because I had family down there. And
does my mic
your mic doesn't seem to be cutting out to me.
Sketchbook says my mic keeps...
Well,
yeah, I'm guessing it's your connection.
Maybe. I mean, I had no problem hearing the entire thing you just said. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Unless my mind was just filling in the gaps every time your mic cut out. Yeah.
I think it's on your end.
It's definitely on my end, because they hear whatever I hear. That's the thing. That's why, I don't know. But
all right, you talk.
Yeah, I was planning on moving down to Austin when I was younger, like right when I was about to get out of high school. Me and one of my friends were thinking about going down there together, and mostly just getting off of odd jobs until we could get into some type of industry, because we wanted to get into like internet film and stuff, which is funny because I was the only one that after that initial kind of dream continued to do internet film. It's like, well, you don't have to be in Austin to do it. But that was kind of the place to be in Texas at the time if you're doing it. I mean, Rooster Teeth was still in its younger days, and there were a bunch of, like, smaller studios and stuff down there. And I had family, so it would have been easy to have kind of like a fallback safety net down there in case something happened. But I don't know. I don't know why we didn't do it. It's probably for the best that we didn't do it, because... God, that probably would have blown up in our face, but it would have been a fun little adventure at the time if we did.
Yeah. Well, I did enjoy living in Texas, so maybe I'll move back there someday.
Texas is great. Everyone I know is moving to Texas. Texas or Florida. Yeah. Those are like the two options everybody's moving to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to decide at some point. I can't be here in Birmingham forever, so... I could move to Austin. That would be halfway to Phoenix.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Though you have to deal with all
But
the
yeah.
crazy people in Austin.
Yeah.
Because, their motto, keep Austin weird, has only been getting shouted more and more and more. You have, like, somebody just running around in their underwear with blue paint on them in the middle of the night shouting, keep Austin weird. It's like, yeah, we'll keep it to the daytime.
Yeah. We didn't mean that weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona's not looking bad.
Mhm.
They're pulling some changes and stuff, too.
Yeah, well, if I move back to Arizona, it sure as fuck is not going to be in the summer. Because goddamn, it's like 120 degrees there right now.
Dude, it's
I'm
actually
not
fine
moving.
here.
I'm sure.
I don't know
I don't
why.
mind living there. I don't mind living there in the summer, but I'm not moving in the summer.
Yeah.
No way. God.
But, like, all the cool air has been congregating in the Midwest. If you've looked at, like, the heat maps. Like, I don't think it's stayed above 90 for more than, like, a day since summer started over here. It's like 84 right now. And it's only going to get cooler as the sun goes down. And, like, I don't know. It's like it's been an abnormally cool summer for Texas. Well, at least North Texas. I haven't been paying attention to how it is in the South. People like San Antonio and more southern than that might be boiling to death for all I know. But where I am, it's pretty fine.
Yeah, I mean, Birmingham tends to be pretty cool. In fact, a lot of times when I look at the weather, it's hotter in Nashville than it is in Birmingham because it rains here so much. I don't know why it rains more here, but it rains more here than it does in Nashville. So it tends to stay a little bit cooler by like 5 or 10 degrees.
Yeah.
GMT, we're not talking about that Birmingham.
Yeah, we're not talking about that Birmingham.
We're talking about the good Birmingham in Alabama.
We're not talking about Birmingham. We're talking about Birmingham. You say them differently. Elric, it rains all the time in Texas and Florida. But don't live in Florida. It rains all the time there because it's way too humid and the sky just starts crying once a day if you're in North Florida. Here it rains because the clouds are actually moving around.
Sketchbook says he lives in Texas, but that really doesn't narrow things down.
Yeah.
You have to be more specific about that. That could be anywhere, 1,000 miles apart.
Well, I mean, I don't hide where I live, but I often don't say the actual city, mostly because nobody would know where I lived if I said the actual city. You're like, what? That place doesn't exist.
Well, but you say Dallas.
I'll say like Dallas because that's the county I'm in. I'll say DFW because the Metroplex is almost like a tiny state of its own. Or I say tiny, it's like it's bigger than Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's more populated.
Yeah, well, I used
states,
to.
too.
Yeah, I used to live in Franklin, Tennessee, but I just say Nashville because it's a suburb of Nashville. It didn't used to be. Back when I was in college, it was like the next town over. Now it's become just a suburb of Nashville. So.
It's like nobody knows where Cedar Hill is.
Yeah. Technically, I currently live in Vestavia Hills, but I just say Birmingham. But anyway.
Yeah, it is usually dry in South Texas in general.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. People don't realize there are multiple biomes in Texas. So there are 3 major Texas biomes, right? There is the Southern Plains, because we are on the southern end of the Great Plains. That's where DFW is. It stretches down for a little bit. A lot of swampland here because any runoff from plains gathers into a swamp. So like Grand Prairie's a swamp. You go more north of that, you're in actual just plains. It has the weather of the plains. You deal with tornadoes and everything like that. We get gators in the Trinity River. That's just what it's like being the south end of the plains. You go even more south or to the west, and most of Texas is desert. I mean, we're the top end of Mexico, right? That's the other major biome. And then Texas also has a subtropical coastal biome that kind of hugs the coast, but we also have a couple island centers next to the coast too. And those are like the 3 major biomes of where you can live in Texas. Now, a lot of the desert region has been like aggregated into or irrigated into more of a plain like farming area, which you can sustain using irrigation, but you're still in the desert. So it's hot and dry as fuck there all the time.
Yeah, from what I remember, Austin has a very similar climate to Phoenix, frankly. I mean,
you're in the
it's
desert.
almost desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grass and stuff around.
Yeah.
But that's because
but it's mostly like
yeah.
It's mostly scrub brush, which is what Phoenix is. It's like scrub brush. It's like, the beginnings of tumbleweeds, basically.
And the worst part is fucking living next to the lake in Austin, right? I'd actually rather be in the dry area on the other side of town, because the lake is like this pocket of humidity because it's so hot there all the time that unless you're actively in the lake doing lake things, it's unbearable to be around.
Well, but yeah, I mean, the only people who live near the lake are incredibly rich.
Yeah, or have the like AC turned
have
up
to
to
be
like 60 degrees all the time.
Yeah, that's the extremely rich areas around the lake. But
then driving over the bridge, you roll your windows up.
Yeah, really. But no, I lived on the north side, just like I said, halfway to Round Rock, which is where like I think Dell is in Round Rock, and Samsung has a.
I think he means county-based climate, not country. Unless he means like we have as many climates as a country. I'm having trouble interpreting that. But if you're talking about like to describe climate, it's better to go county by county, because the climate does kind of change county by county. If you're talking about on the whole, we have as many different biomes as your average country does.
Yeah. Well, it's bigger than your average country. I mean, Texas is bigger than France, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. I mean, what's funny is like those western states. Arizona is huge. Arizona is like the size of France. It's huge. Like I didn't even realize until I moved there and realized that I drove to Phoenix, and I was like, okay, I'm in Arizona. Oh, I still have like 3 hours before I get to Phoenix. Like, holy shit, this state is huge.
Or when you're on a 9-hour trip from DFW to El Paso.
Yeah. And like, I needed to go one time. I needed to get a passport, and I was like, I'll just go, because the passport office was in what's the name of? Well, it's like the next town over to the south of Phoenix. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it was like a 5-hour drive. I was like, holy shit! I didn't realize this place is so. State is so.
The problem is you want to talk about big areas too. We got nothing on most of Canada's provinces. Texas is only bigger than half of them. The other half are bigger.
Mm-hmm. Tucson. Yeah, Phoenix to Tucson is an unbelievably long drive.
I don't have like a map of Arizona in my head to know that it's south of Phoenix, but Tucson is such like a like known town. That's one that's like hard to blank on.
Mm-hmm.
You know why I always remember? Because it's in a song. It's "Keep on Rocking Me, Baby," right? Or is it no?
That's right.
Is it Tucson or Phoenix? I forget. He says something Arizona all the way to northern
Tacoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he says Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours away, but it's just, and that's not even. Yeah, if you want to go north, if you want to go up to like Utah, that's like 8 hours away. That's
insane.
Yeah. It's huge.
It takes forever to get across the country here. If you're going, what's it called, laterally, it takes forever to get anywhere. Going north to south, it's not too bad. Like, what's it talk about? I go to Chicago every so often, me and my brother, and we can do that drive in 2 days, right? If we're doing nonstop, if we're just making our pit stop up there, couple pit stops on the way. We could do that drive in 2 days. It takes no time, reasonably, to go north to south. If you're going east to west, though, it takes forever to get across this fucking country.
Yeah. So Dario, marijuana is legal in Arizona. I don't know. Is it legal in Texas?
No, not yet. And it probably won't be for quite some time. In fact, a lot of states are financially somewhat regretting. It had a big boom. It's having trouble holding. But one of the problems I don't think has anything to do with weed, because it's not like it's a product that doesn't sell. It's because of some of the weird restrictions that they're doing that aren't even necessary for skirting the federal problems. Some of the states are killing weed. I think if it was let to be a little bit more liberal, the business would be doing fine. Just fine everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I still don't understand. Were we talking about the weed industry? And was it in California?
Yeah, it needed to be bailed out by
the
state. Yeah.
What? How is that possible? And why would the state come out?
I don't know.
But okay, let them go out of business. Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe there's too much competition or something. Why in God's name would the state bail out the technically illegal marijuana industry, the federally illegal? That's crazy. What? I don't know.
Yeah.
They got too much money in California government.
Yeah, Buffalo to Los Angeles in 3 days nonstop is a long time. Because when I said the 2-day trip, I'm talking to Chicago and back. That's a short time. Going across the country, yeah, it could take 3 or 4 days depending on the pacing you're doing. A week if you're actually taking breaks.
Is Dario saying that marijuana is legal in New York? Is it? I guess it is.
I think I don't know if it's statewide. I don't really know how that's done, but I've heard about people in the area being kind of free. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just NYC, but I don't know. I don't really know New York's laws or what's going on in New York right now, other than the fact that they've killed the big city. I don't know if it's ever going to bounce back.
Rick is saying he's driven from Buffalo, New York to Los Angeles. Holy crap. I would never drive that.
He says it wasn't nonstop. Are you sure it was only... I have a hard time believing you can make it from Buffalo to Los Angeles without only making pit stops in 3 days.
Yeah, I would think it would have to be pretty much nonstop and just stop to sleep.
That's a really long distance.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about a mass exodus from California, Elric. You weirdos stay over there. Did we want to fence California off and not let y'all into the rest of the country?
Yeah. It's gonna escape from LA, except we're gonna extend it to the entire state.
That's right. Stay in there. We'll come and visit every once in a while.
It's 9:01. That's the show.
All right.
Thank you all for watching or listening in the future, whenever it is. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who might enjoy it. And if you really like the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/Vomitorium Live. And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.